So let's kind of dive right into it. I have many conversations with coaches every single day at all different levels. A lot of those conversations are people slowly and surely finding out that FloSports acquired TrackWrestling. And some people think it happened yesterday and others think it happened a decade ago. So I guess my first question for you is, when exactly did that happen and what's that process been like so far?
Yeah, happy to clear up any confusion. So the actual acquisition of TrackWrestling by FloSports was back in February of 21. So we're 4.5 years in. Sometimes it feels like yesterday, sometimes it feels like longer, right? But yeah, so 4.5 years ago. And I think what's interesting too, to think back as we started preparing for this and for the opportunity to come on today, is most people remember, but if not, I'll remind them, we were pretty fierce competitors back then. There wasn't a lot of love lost between Track and Flow. We were competing for the same things in a lot of areas of the business. So the news caught everybody by surprise, not just those of us that were, employees of Track Wrestling at the time, but also the wrestling community. I think there are a lot of questions, right? Like, what's it look like? Is this good for the sport? Is it going to be detrimental? And I can say that I was one of those that was caught by surprise, starting the Track Wrestling back in 2011. But from the moment that I heard the news, I just knew that Flow was a natural fit. And there was just a huge upside, right? I think the challenge for many of us, especially those of us at Track Wrestling that were making this transition, were just kind of overcoming the emotion of that, putting that aside, and really thinking about what was best for, the wrestling community, our company for sure, right? We had people and families that were impacted, and so that was really the biggest challenge. But it became really quickly clear once we got to Flow that this was just a company loaded with passion for wrestling, right? And we kind of took it as a badge of honor at Track to, like, we work harder than anybody. We care about wrestling more than anybody doing what we're doing. And we realized, pretty early on that we were surrounded now with a large group of people who did the same things and felt the same way about the sport as we did. So that was pretty exciting. And I think it calmed the nerves for us. And I think it's important to note too, that the goal from day one was to merge the platforms, right? We wanted it not to be, was it on Track? Was it on Flow? We wanted one place for people to come and they knew that this was just the place. And that took time, right? A little slower than most people wanted. We told people we were going to do it. And it took a little bit of time, but the reason for that is we just wanted to get it right? But lots of planning, lots of research. And we wanted to make sure that when we did it, that it was right and we got it right the first time. And the other thing I'll add to that too, and that just wasn't the typical playbook, right? We spent a lot like wrestling and at Flow it was the same way. Like, we made changes and built things based on what we thought users wanted. And this was different and it took time. We listened, we learned, and we built a new thing that we've been calling it for a long, long time. We built it with intention. And the result is what you're going to learn more about today, that new next gen fan experience.
Yeah, I appreciate you going into that. I think prior to that, in the wrestling space in general, it was, you'd go here for Flow or there for Track, whatever it may be. And so when I first heard about it, it was kind of like, wow, all under one roof, we're going to be able to figure out where to find things and get access to things. So it really felt easier, from the get-go once kind of everything started to merge together. So I appreciate you sharing that with us. Yeah. One thing, and I hear it a lot, and I'm sure you guys do too, just on the wrestling side, is that a lot of wrestling fans believe Flow is just Flow Wrestling, right? It's just all that they know or that they consume and experience. And so, but I know that that's not accurate, right? And so I guess, could you briefly tell us what other sports and markets that FloSports in general covers?
Sure. Yeah. I think Flow Wrestling, people think it's just Flow Wrestling, like you mentioned. I was one of those, right? I think, till very shortly before we were acquired, I thought the same thing. But FloSports is in over 20 sports, around 25 sports. Tyler, we're going to stream 50,000 events this year on our platform, which is just a massive number. It's a little bit mind-boggling to think about, but that just shows you kind of the scale of what we're doing here. Some of the other areas or sports that we're in beyond wrestling, we have Flow Racing, motorsports. We have Flow Hockey. We have Flow Cheer, also branded as Varsity TV. And then Flow College is a vertical that's about a year old for us, and that's multiple sports across primarily D2 and D3 NCAA conferences. Flow Grappling is probably another good one to mention here. Probably some carryover being a combat sport. And we do some other things that people probably aren't we don't spend a lot of time here, but connected TV, smart TVs, right? We have an app where you can go on and watch it there. We just announced this week, Samsung and Vizio, we're going to be, on those TVs when the people buy those televisions. And so what that means is instead of just watching on your phone or watching on your computer, like we've all done for so many years, you can throw it on your smart TV and watch it on the big screen. So I think some of that just illustrates like what we have. And when I talked about resources before, that just taps into it, right? We're not a narrow focused, although we're very passionate about wrestling. We do an awful lot of cool things for a lot of sports at Flow.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of a spin off of that a little bit, I guess, is so I think us wrestling guys might think we're the toughest, right? And so maybe from your fans that you have at FloSports in general, we might be the toughest. But when it comes to like total volume of like viewership and things like that, is wrestling rank up there as some of the biggest fan base that you have across the platforms, or is there another sport like NASCAR, something like that, right? The racing side. Is there something that really out exceeds the wrestling fans by a lot?
Yeah, the ones I mentioned, those are they're the biggest, right? Wrestling's right up there. Racing is a little bit racing is kind of king as it comes to that. I think we have a really, really passionate fan base in racing. But those other ones I mentioned are kind of our largest drivers. Wrestling is up there. It's kind of core to how the company started. We have, and again, Brandon's going to get into all the cool things we're doing, but we have an entire content team devoted to wrestling. But yeah, so those are the ones I mentioned earlier: racing, hockey. Cheer is a really big one for him as well. And when we talk about tough guys, there's some pretty tough grapplers.
For sure.
Tyler.
Absolutely. All right. I know on this call, as I saw a lot of the registrations come in for this webinar, I know that there's a lot of coaches that are on here, right? And coaches that are being fed information from not only Flow and Track Wrestling, but also from their state directors, their admins, things like that as well too. And so to kind of get rid of any confusion as a coach for this season, what changes are they to expect, or when it comes to like the season management or anything like that, what changes should they expect for this 25-26 wrestling season?
Yeah. I'm glad you asked. I'd like to clear that up. So we've tried to do our best and either in marketing, trying to get the word out there. We've also contacted state associations directly, trying to clear some of this, but great opportunity to do this. Simply put, for coaches, Tyler, nothing in the OPC is changing, right? You're going to log in the same way. You're going to get your logins the same way you always have. You're going to work with many of the same people on our support side of things. I think probably almost all of them, which most of you I think will appreciate. And then all of those tools that you've used before for weight management, schedules, rosters, results, stats, that's going to remain the same. Where we're making changes, or where we've made changes, to put it more accurately, is on the fan experience side. We're going to get to Brandon here in just a minute. He's going to talk about all the stuff we're doing. But yeah, so that's where it is. So Track Wrestling, all the stuff you've come to know in Track Wrestling, that's all there. That's all free. You're still going to see brackets for free. You're still going to see results. I'll maybe spoil a little bit for Brandon's thing here, but event notifications, those are free. I know coaches, when you're at tournaments, you want to get those notifications. Those are all free now. We've never given those away before. As a longtime wrestler and coach, that's huge, right? Not just as a parent, but when you guys are out there. So that's free. And so, yeah, we're just really excited about this. It's probably great, Tyler, if you don't mind, we toss it over to Brandon. I gave away just a little bit of the next gen experience, but this is the guy that knows it inside and out. Brandon Holtz, he's our principal product manager, and he knows us better than anybody. And I'll turn it over to him.
Thank you, Shane. Before we get started, I would love for this to be conversational. Please feel free to unmute, speak, raise your hand, chat. If anything's unclear, please just speak up. Go ahead, Jennifer.
Hi there. I don't see any chat that we could throw questions into. Is that available?
Yeah, the bottom right corner, there's a spot. It looks like a little chat bubble.
It's starting to pop up now. Perfect. Thank you.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. So we were talking about next gen wrestling today. We see this as the biggest innovation that this sport has seen from a product perspective. we are working very hard to get this right, to Shane's point. We are not done. This is not a presentation of, hey, we're completed, here's what you have. This is a work in progress, and we are building with y'all. We are learning every day. We are getting better every day and every week. And I'm very excited to show you what we have. We'll start with brackets. So on the left side, you'll see TrackWrestling. On the right side, you'll see FloWrestling. We really try to take the feel of ESPN, CBS, and bring them to the bracket, that March Madness feel. We'll talk about more of the features in depth in a second, but this is the general bracket. Let's talk about bracket switching and bracket view. So if you want to switch seamlessly from one bracket to another, as you saw in that GIF on the right side, you can go from 92 kilograms to 62 kilograms very seamlessly and easily. If you think about mobile, the vast majority of these cases are going to be on mobile. Wrestlers, coaches are going to be in venues. So we really want to get mobile right. And yeah. Live updates. We are fast today. We will be even faster as the season goes on. In about a month or so, you'll notice that, like, hey, this stuff is lightning fast. So we're very excited to bring that to you. Highlighting wrestlers. So a core part of our experience is my wrestlers. You can designate any of your wrestlers as your wrestlers. And what comes with that is you can designate a color for that wrestler. So an example of a feature here is you can go to the bracket. Some of these brackets get huge, and it can be tough to find your wrestler. So immediately it's apparent, like, this is your wrestler. This is who you have. This is available for mobile and desktop, but I just want to show you this very quick feature. Bracket sharing.
Brandon,
So for grandma and grandpa,
Brandon,
go ahead.
Brandon, I have a question. So I was Super 32 going through this. Is there a plan? Like, it wasn't texting me. I had to ask somebody how it got to text me. Can you kind of show us like a step-by-step, a little easier? Maybe I'm old. And also, when I was trying to get the brackets, like go to the brackets, when I was pushing that bottom button, it was really hard. Like, it would pop up and then go immediately off my screen, to where I could really struggle a little bit. Sorry.
No, do not apologize. This is what I want. So we struggled with large brackets for Super 32. We struggled. And where we struggled was on mobile. The pinch and zoom and the navigation around the brackets was not good. And we know that. We're going to fix that in short order. We are being very aggressive about that work, but we are very cognizant of that struggle. In terms of your ask of like a step-by-step, how do you switch brackets? If you go into the brackets experience, you will see the selector by default. You can click this selector at the bottom left, if you can see my cursor, and then you can either add or switch between a bracket you've already added there. Is that clear?
Yeah, I did that. The other thing was, like, I wasn't getting the text messages. Like once I selected my wrestlers, I still wasn't getting the text messages like we were getting in the past. It wasn't. I didn't find that easy. So
Yeah,
that's kind of where I was looking.
did you subscribe to the notifications? Did you provide your phone number and all that?
I'm pretty sure I did, but I don't.
Okay.
I'll have to go back and look.
I would love your
'Cause I don't
information
know
after this.
how different it is. Yeah.
I would love your information after this. I want to follow up with you and see what's going on.
Okay. No worries. I'll put it in the chat.
Thank you.
Brandon, this might be a good time. One question from a fan from one of the viewers on here that asked is how you can mark like your favorite wrestler, which I think is great, right? Like on the ESPN app and every sport, I have some of my favorite teams and whatever highlighted that way, right? So I think that's amazing, right? And but their question is, can you highlight an entire team that kind of defaults all the wrestlers within that to be your wrestlers, or would you just have to select and find those wrestlers and then kind of star and select them all as a favorite?
Not yet, but we have made some, I'll say we've made some steps to get there. It's not in this presentation, but on the web, what you can do is there's a batch, we're calling it a batch icon, where you can click on a bell for the entire team. And when you click notifications for that team, it'll actually set it for all wrestlers. But right now, when you actually add the wrestlers, you cannot add all of them at the same time in one swipe. You can click on checkboxes, and I'll send that out after this meeting. But there are checkboxes that you can click all of them and then add them in one swipe. You just can't press one button.
Got it. And forgive me, this is a question from me, I guess. It's not in the chat at all. But if I have one of my favorite wrestlers, let's just say that's competing throughout the high school season and I favorite him, now he's competing in Fargo or wherever else, am I still getting those same notifications when they're competing, throughout the off season as well?
For this specific feature, this is event-based. There are, which I'll get to in a second, there are other follows on the athlete profile that you can do that universally. But for the Event Hub right now, we will get there. But for right now, it is event-based.
Got it. Good to know.
I'd
Cool.
like to add another thing in there with the team aspect. One thing that Track Wrestling, as far as a coaching aspect, coaching a whole team on a Saturday tournament, a lot of times it was just myself as a coach and another coach. And what Track Wrestling did really good for me, the way that I use Track Wrestling, is it would put my wrestlers in order by their bout number. Is that something that is available now or will be available?
We got that feedback. We have a plan to do that. It is not there right now, but we will get there soon.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Anyone else before we move on? Jennifer.
When you say soon, do you mean before season starts in December?
For that specific feature, yes, that will be before December.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Let's move on to bracket sharing. So when it comes to some folks' parents, grandparents, it can be hard to tell grandma and grandpa, hey, go to the website, do X, Y, and Z to go to my bracket. We want to make it very simple for these users and just anyone. It could be your coach, it could be a teammate, it could be anybody. There is a bracket sharing feature already available for both desktop and mobile. We can go to share, copy a link, text the link. It's very easy. They click that link and they're right in the bracket. Any questions on this? Okay. Steven.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. And when you do those brackets automatically refresh, or do you have to refresh them yourself? So like
They
after matches. Yeah, go ahead.
They automatically refresh.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. And it's gonna get faster as the season goes on. Okay. Let's talk about navigation. So like I said earlier, the majority of the viewership here is going to be on mobile. So we're taking the navigation and the intuitiveness of this canvas very seriously. Here you can like pinch and zoom, like I was saying earlier, like we had some struggles at Super 32, and just be transparent, like it's unacceptable. That will not happen again for a large tournament. We are focused on fixing this. So I just want to show that how a bracket moves on mobile. Yeah. This is one of my favorites. This is the mini map. So on desktop, if you have a laptop, so again, like some of these brackets up to like 250 wrestlers, right? They can be kind of a pain to get through. If you actually use this mini map to the right, all the way to the right here, you can actually click anywhere on the mini map and be taken directly to where you're clicking, that region of the bracket, right? You can also drag it. If you're just navigating the bracket on your own, the mini map will actually, you can actually see where you are. So this is a huge value add for large tournaments. Like Super 32, it shined this past weekend. So we had a lot of positive feedback on this specific feature. We are bringing it to native soon. It's less urgent because it is supposed to be much easier to navigate on a mobile phone. But we do have this for mobile web. So when I say native, I'm talking about the app. Mobile web is just like the browser on your phone. Any questions? Okay, let's talk about bout tracing. It doesn't have to be a large bracket. It can be any bracket. If you're curious on how that match came to be and where that match is going, you can actually hover on desktop. Just hover over the bout. You'll immediately understand the path of that entire bout. On native, we're going to introduce this. It's going to be a long press. If you long press with your finger on the bout card, you'll actually see the entire path highlight for you. Very excited about this. This is a huge value add for wrestlers. Let's talk about schedule. Schedules are very important. When you click on events and Track Wrestling, this is what you come to. So this is the mobile version. This is our next gen schedule. So we're going to talk about the list schedule and the map schedule. For the list schedule, that's what you're seeing here today. You can do a few things from here. Namely, for event admins, I know it's very important to sort by state. We do have a location filter in here. So if you're the event admin for the state of Florida, easily sort by Florida, and all you're going to see in your event list is Floridian events, right? You can also use the counter component. if you know for a fact what date your tournament is and it's not this week, it's advantageous for you to just click this counter component and go to December 23rd and boom, there's your tournament. You can also search. Our search right now is not up to par. It's not great. It will get significantly better in the next few weeks. We are working aggressively on search right now. There's going to be some very obvious improvements that you'll see. You can obviously scroll down to see more events, and you can also click on the map, which we'll get to now. So if you're more of a visual person and you want to see the events that are near you on a map, we can do that. So the same kind of deal here. You can filter, but for this case, it's probably more advantageous to just like drag your map. We do ask for your location. If you give us your location, we'll kind of go to your location as it is, and then we'll just show you the events that are there nearby. Any questions on the list schedule and the map schedule? None?
I
Oh,
like
how
it,
about that?
Brandon.
And we have questions, but Brandon, you talk so fast. So,
Okay.
my biggest question is there a major difference when I am dealing with my parents? Am I going to tell them there's a major difference between downloading the app and doing it in a browser?
We're focused on making both great. If you have a choice, I mean, it's really up to the user. We don't have like an official recommendation. I think the more emphasis is on mobile. I can't emphasize enough that like wrestlers, coaches, like the venue type of actions, which we'll get to like mat assignments and things of that nature soon. It's all on mobile.
So for us, we're a youth wrestling group. So not coaches, not wrestlers. They can figure it out. What I'm talking about is grandparents, the parents.
Got it.
They're the ones that are going to come to me while I'm in the middle of pairing and ask me, how do I get to where I need? I can't see my kid. What do I do? So which option? What I'm asking is, they don't really have to download the app to get what they want, right?
No, ma'am. So they can easily use desktop web. We have feature parity for both native and web across the board outside of, I'll call it Canvas specific features. Minimap is a perfect example. Minimap is just not as urgent on the native app. So it's on desktop web only right now. So outside of those nuanced situations, we have feature parity across the board. You can use either desktop web or native or mobile web. You can use any of them. We are focused on all of them. So the answer to your question is go ahead and use desktop.
Okay, because obviously a grandparent isn't going to download an app on that day just to see the thing they came to see that day, but they want to follow every bit of it. So I can easily just say to them, you're going to this link. Here's the QR code to find this link. I pull up QR codes for my people. So here's the QR code, find this link, and then you can find your team, you can find your wrestler, and they can follow it through the day. Yeah.
If you're a wrestler with a grandparent and you want that grandparent to see your bracket, you can use that share feature that we just talked about over here.
The copy link. Yeah, I like that. That's a good one.
You can email, because grandparents are probably going to use email, right?
Sure.
You can email that link. It works the exact same fashion on desktop web. So it'll just take you to the web version of the bracket. It works the exact same way.
Okay. That sounds good.
It just says BB. Go ahead. BB, are you there? You have a hand raised. Okay, we're going to move on to Jeff. Jeff, what you got?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
So when the new feature, even as somebody running an event on the old classic track, they have the QR screen, nice screen you can print off now. When people are scanning that with their mobile phone, where is it taking them exactly? Is it taking them to the app or is it taking them to the web base?
If you have a phone and you have the native app and you scan the QR code, it will take you to the native app. If you do not have,
go ahead.
If you do not have the app, it's going to give you a web view, and it's actually going to have a little banner across the screen of like, want to download the app and view this in the app, and there's that option for you.
Okay. Awesome.
BB, I'm going to check one more time. Do you have a question? Okay.
Yeah, and Brandon, and for those, to Jennifer's point about going fast too, is some of the questions that are in this chat when Brandon wraps up his deck slide too, we'll go back and I'll surf through those quick and we'll get those questions answered for sure.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Let's go to notifications. I think this is everyone's favorite. So our notifications are free, no money needed. We have a few awesome notifications here. Number one is my favorite, bracket notifications. I wrestled 15 years ago, 20 years ago, however long it's been. And I remember doing laps around the gym, waiting for those brackets to be like taped to the wall. And I would have killed for something like this. So what we're doing is once a bracket is available for a wrestler, they're going to get a text with a link. They click that link, boom, there's their bracket. All they have to do is subscribe to themselves and their My Wrestlers roster, checkbox the bracket notification box, and then you'll get texted when your bracket is available immediately. Again, same principle as what we just discussed. They can get this emailed to them. I doubt that's going to be very popular because in this case, you're in the venue, you have a phone, it's going to be a text. So this is the first of our notifications, bracket posted. Sean, go ahead.
Is that only if they have a track profile?
No.
Okay. You know how you have to map each person to like a profile? So sometimes people put in different names, they don't automatically link. How would they know that they're in the event if someone just put in like Steve Smith?
If you're in the bracket, if you're a wrestler that's in the bracket and you have your, I'll call it an entry, you have a wrestler entry in your bracket, and you can click on that wrestler and subscribe notifications. It doesn't matter who you are. You can just put in your number, put in your email, and get notifications for that wrestler.
How do they do that, though? How do they set that up?
Yeah, so if you're in the event hub, let's go back. So Veronica Vilk, in this example, is a My Wrestler. What should be in this presentation and what I will share out is what happens before this. How do you add? In the place of Veronica Vilk, there's a plus sign, and you can just click the plus sign, and then you have your add wrestler screen. It gives you all the teams for that specific event. And you can click on the team, has all the wrestlers of that team. You click on a wrestler, and then you'll see all the notifications you can subscribe to for that wrestler. It's very easy. It's very visually apparent. I just don't have that screen in this presentation, but I will send it out after this call.
So to get the notifications, it's just basically you're selecting a person. It won't be you, but it could be anybody.
It could be you, but yes, you are selecting a person. Right. You're targeting a person.
Okay. And then there'll be like a list of wrestlers somewhere that you can go to before. Obviously, there's no brackets at that point, right?
Well, there can be. So if you're it's 5 minutes into the tournament and you're like, oh man, like I don't have notifications. The bracket's been posted already. You can go and still add notifications for yourself. It doesn't have to be beforehand.
Right.
So for my purposes, like I said, we're youth wrestling. They're not going to know from their coach. It's not like high school where they're going to wrestle every weekend. These are kids that come in every other weekend, every third weekend. So they can just simply, the first time, put in that they're going to get a notification based on their name, share it to their grandparents, share it to their mom, and then as long as they log in to the event, it will pop up. It will send to the wrestler itself. Will it send to the coach also?
There's a couple of things here. So there's the sharing, the bracket sharing, where like, hey, I'm sending you a link to see my bracket. And then separately, there are notifications for a wrestler. In your case, you're kind of merging them. So
oh yes, I probably am. Thank you.
For that grandparent, they themselves, it technically it is possible. Like if I wanted to go in and I didn't want the notification, I could set it up for my grandfather or grandmother. I could do that. And I could just put their phone number, I could put their email address, I could do that. The problem is that you can only use one number or one email for a wrestler. And if you want notifications for yourself, like what we're talking about in a second, like
no, you want to do that for your grandparent. You want it for yourself, so you know where you go and what you're doing. And right, okay. So But then from that, they have their own notification. Can they forward that to someone?
Forward, can you tell me more? Forward a notification.
So if I get a notification, I'm the wrestler and I'm on the floor and I get my notification that my bracket is, I'm ready to go, I'm coming up soon. Can I forward that to my mom and be like, hey, you're across the room, I'm about to come up. Do I forward my text message and she can also see it?
Yeah, I mean, at that point, it's just a text message. You can take a screenshot. You can share the text message. There's nothing special about that specific text message. It's just a normal text message.
So it's just coming as a notification and they could just say, hey, here's my notification, I'm up.
Yeah, and it's important to note, yes, and it's important to note that if you do this on mobile web, what's specific to mobile web is there is a push option. So you can get push notifications. So like if you have the app, sometimes when you get a notification through an app and like shows at the top of your screen, that kind of thing, that's how it will surface if you wanted to. Obviously you can't like forward that, but like, yeah, of course you can share text messages, emails, forward emails, of course.
Okay.
Steven.
Yeah, so as a tournament director, when I'm building brackets and stuff like that, we're talking about the notifications of when brackets are built. There's a lot of times where you build brackets, then you have to go back and then you built them, you opened them up to everybody. Oh no, Johnny's not in the bracket, so you got to go back in and rebuild the bracket. It changes everybody up and all that. Do they constantly get updated every single time you do something, or is there going to be a feature within the actual site that you can you turn it all off, so no notifications only? Like they can still may be able to see things, but they don't get the direct notification.
I think you're gonna like this, but I have a couple of things for you. So
because that's a big deal. We actually schedule our things to be very late and then back it up and reschedule. Hey, we want it to show now instead of what we said was going to be in 2 hours, because I don't want them watching while I'm building brackets.
For the first item, let's talk about brackets changing. So on our roadmap, and it's not just some like next year thing, this is going to be soon. We are prioritizing this. We understand that bracket changes happen and it's not uncommon. So what we're going to do is we will send the bracket post notification when the bracket is available. If the admin or someone else makes a change to the bracket, the wrestler will actually get a notification saying, hey, your bracket has changed. Check this out to make sure you're not impacted. Chances are they're probably going to be impacted. So if they click on that link, it'll be the brand new version of that bracket. So that's number one. Number two, I think there was just a question of like, hey, would the brackets automatically update? The answer is yes. Now, in that case, someone asked earlier, hey, would you have to refresh, or is this going to like, in that regard, you're going to have to refresh for now. For right now, you're going to have to refresh in that case. That's in the case of a bracket actually changing the structure of it, the wrestlers that are wrestling each other. Did that answer your question, Steven?
Yeah, but the other part of it was also the fact that like anytime anything got changed, like are they going to get spammed with notifications to the point like let's say it's not running like it's supposed to, things are getting all jacked up, you've got Johnny over here and Sally over here, and next thing you know, you understand how tournaments can get chaotic and crazy. Now notifications are going out to everybody. Now they're coming up to the head table for questions and all of this and that. It's like, hey, what's going on with my bracket? What happened? What changed? And to the point, like Jennifer was talking about with like grandparents and people that don't know the system well, now you have to run, interference on people that aren't directly involved with the information. It's not their kid, it's not the parent. I was just curious if we could, instead of like Jennifer said, where you set the time later so nobody can see what you're doing until you're done, right? Can you then, when crap happens, can you turn noties off or change the date and time back up, kill it, and then go back? Go ahead.
Not only can you turn them off, but you can turn certain ones off. So this is not all or nothing.
Okay.
There's basically a set of checkboxes: bracket posted, mat assignment, on deck, results. You can just check if you're a coach and you just want the mat assignment notification to make sure your wrestler is like his butt's on that too. when he needs to be. You can only get Matt notifications if you want.
So that's on the user side, not as
Yes.
the admin side for the tournament. So
Correct.
I can't go in and say you're not going to get these notifications. They'll have to do that on their side if they are tired of hearing them and all the
Yes, sir.
above. And
Yes,
if and the only way that I can control those notifications is not make the brackets live at the particular moment, set the time forward enough, like Jennifer was saying, where they don't see the brackets to begin with.
That's correct.
Copy.
So that's always kind of sort of been an issue, is that I have to keep things quiet until I'm sure we have fixed all of the weird little, oh, this bracket isn't going to work. Somebody was missed. We got to put somebody else in, blah, blah, blah. So once I make it go live, everyone gets their notifications. When I take it off live again, so I can fix 2 of the brackets out of 60, what happens? I take it back off and everybody gets a new notification?
So it's important to note that you're not going to get a notification every time any bracket
Okay,
gets
so
changed.
if it didn't change for that particular wrestler, then there's no new notification, right?
Correct. We key off the athlete. So if your athlete is
Okay.
in a bracket, yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's only the bracket I've changed where the new notification goes out.
The notification is only for a bracket that the athlete is in, and that's only if they subscribe to the bracket change. So if you're a parent, you probably don't, you may care about the bracket change. You may. If you're a grandparent that's watching virtually, like, you're probably not going to check that box. Bracket
No,
post
but
and
if
bracket
you're the
change.
wrestler, and I've put you in a bracket, yeah,
Yep.
and then somehow 2 other kids in the bracket dropped out or something, and I'm changing the bracket. What I'm asking is, once I change that bracket, each wrestler within the bracket I've changed gets a new notification saying, hey, something is different. You're now here.
If those wrestlers have subscribed to the bracket change notifications, yes, they will get a
Excellent.
notification every time
Okay.
you repost.
Okay. But not the entire room. There's not
No.
like, hey, there's a new bracket for somebody that's not related to you.
No.
Fantastic. Thank you.
I'm gonna jump in here, Brandon, just so we can be respectful of everyone's time as well too. I'm gonna let you get through the rest of your deck and show that, and then I'll go through it right at the end of that. I'll go through and we'll sift through the questions that are also in the chat that haven't been answered yet. But just to give it, not that anybody's question isn't important, but just so we can kind of stay timing wise and within reason. So I'll let you continue with the deck here.
Got it. And if anyone's willing to stay over, I'm willing to stay over as long as it takes. I want clarity for all of you.
For sure.
Okay. So live stream results notifications. If you care about an event, right? You're not really focused on a wrestler, but let's take it with Fargo, Super 32, right? You don't have a specific wrestler you want to follow, but you really want to follow an event. You can favorite an event, and we will actually notify you when that event starts. What we'll also do as a bonus is when the intermission ends for that event, we'll also send you a notification like, hey, action's underway again, right? So that's the live stream / event notification. On the results side, if you are subscribed to an athlete and you click results, the checkbox results, if once a match ends, this is fast. Once a match ends, like, we will show you the score, the method of victory, the wrestlers, all that kind of stuff, right? We will send you a text of the results. Actually, on this slide, before we talk about mat number and on deck, I just want to show you the sequence of events here. So number 1, mat's assigned. Number 2, on deck. Number 3, results, right? So you don't miss a step. Just to jump into mat number and on deck for the sake of time, this is a huge value add for a wrestler. I got distracted all the time. Like, my coach got mad, like, dude, you're supposed to be over there. What the hell? This way, like, you get a text of, hey, like, your mat's been assigned to mat 8. In that regard, like, you don't have to be there yet, but it's like, hey, we're preparing you. You have to be on mat 8. If you get that on deck notification and you're not at mat 8, you got to get your butt over there. So the on deck notification is going to save a lot of people's butts. So we're very excited about that one. But I just want to like show you the flow of events and how they happen, right? You can only subscribe to mat assignments. If, like, you don't need on deck, you don't need results, that's fine. But if you subscribe to all 3, this is how it looks. Wrestler profiles. It is very important for this one to emphasize we are not done. what is out there is not complete. In a couple weeks, we will have the most comprehensive athlete profile you have ever seen, period. We will make this happen. We are working aggressively to get this done, and I promise it will be a great experience. And on this page, you can see a lot of things. Rankings, achievements. We'll get to rankings in a second. Their record for, high school record, their college record. We're working very aggressively on this kind of stuff. It's very high level right now of like overall record. We want to get way better at this. Headshots, bios, teammates, videos, results, news. There's a lot of stuff here, but we will have the most comprehensive experience you have ever seen. Rankings. This is coming soon. I'd say like, a couple months or earlier. I was not good enough to be a D1 wrestler. I was not an elite wrestler, but I always wanted to find out, like, how did I compare on the Jacksonville level? How did I compare on the Duval County level, the Florida level? I couldn't really do that effectively because rankings, as we speak, are like right now, they're reserved for like the top 1 or 2%. We're going to change that. We want to rank and rate everybody. And so, there's hundreds of thousands of wrestlers in this country, and the vast majority of them just don't know how they match up. That's what we're doing. So this is going to be for everybody. And we're excited about this. Search, as I said earlier, search is not up to our par. It's not good. It can be a lot better, and we will make it better. As you can see on the right, it's going to be an example of one of our search entry points. So in a search box, PNN, right? PNN could be James Penna. It could be an athlete. It could also be an event, like the Pennsylvania Spartan National Dual Roster entry, right? We want to guess what you want before you have to complete the word. We care about your time. We want you to get what you care about in a timely fashion. So we're very, very focused on making search great. The mobile app, like I've been saying, this is the most important thing we have, is this mobile app. This is your new home for wrestling. As you can see on the right, if there is a live event ongoing, live streams, match schedules, brackets, my wrestlers, with notifications. We have a lot of stuff here. I highly encourage y'all to download the app. We're very proud of it. And it's only going to get better. So all these features in your pocket, one app, it'll get better. Picture in picture. It's 2025. We're all big multitaskers. You should be able to browse a bracket and watch a match at the same time. So this is a perfect example. To the right, we have this today. We can watch a match and peruse brackets at the same time, right? So this is my favorite one of the entire deck. When we did our original launch, so to speak, I was obviously like patrolling social media. I was talking to a lot of event admins. I gave my number to a lot of people. I just want to hear feedback. I want to talk to people. And the number one topic was this guy. So on TrackWrestling, there is I think they call it the live dashboard. It's basically a grid of events that are not streamed. A lot of events are not streamed, but you still want to track them, right? You want to keep track. And we didn't have that originally, but we are working diligently to get there. This will be very, very fast, all encompassing, all events, every single event. And we will have positions and points and everything for every single bout. So this is a very quick sneak peek. We're going to call this Mat Center. It'll be the #1 tab in the event hub. And this is going to be the way people enjoy the sport of wrestling. And I'm very excited to release this soon. That was what I had. I would love to hear questions. I want to be cognizant of the scheduled time, to Tyler's point, but I'm willing to stay after.
So Brandon, I'll jump in and ask I'll answer and sift through just a couple to start with. I'm going to finish with Shane, and then so everybody knows at the end of that, to Brandon's point, we can leave the meeting open as long as possible. I'm more than happy to stick around, and Brandon sounds like he is as well too. So a couple of questions off the top. Have you smoothed out the process between live events from TrackWrestling and Flow? What I'm assuming that is like from the fan experience, you should just be going to FloSports now, correct? Not trying to go into Track and then from there navigate to Flow. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
Awesome. Scott Cobbs, yes, this is going to be recorded. You'll get everybody that registered for this will get an email from us with that recording for sure, so you know that. We answered the question about our wrestlers as a team. Are there any other, Brandon, this is kind of a vague question a little bit, but are there any other features that you know about the top of your head that were in track that are not there yet that you're also working towards? Or, I mean, obviously there's a lot of new features, right? And that experience that you just showed is awesome. But is there anything else that fans, I guess, might be missing that is in short order of getting released?
There's a lot. I think that the biggest one off the top of my head is the live house dashboard. It's a top 5 fan page in terms of traffic. And what's cool about that is like it's only available during a live event, and there's other pages that are available throughout, anytime. And so it's still beating those. So we know the importance of that. We're going to get it done. There's a lot of smaller features that Track Wrestling has that we're going to have. Yeah.
Got it. Cool. Jonathan Black, Shane looks like he answered this one for you, but for any of you coaches that are waiting possibly for login still for Track and Flow, most of your states are the ones that will send that out. So reaching out to your state association or your director of who that is will help guide you on when those exactly will be released to you. The replay of tournaments, it says, are we able to replay tournaments, and am I able to get a download of the tournament? So I'm assuming the archived video of the tournament through the app, as a subscriber, you have access to that old video.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Yeah. Dashboard we went through, and then we talked about tracking kids. We talked about, you guys put it, but we talked about the grandpas viewing everything as well too, and how that can be difficult and how they're hopefully making that a lot easier as well too. And then Alyssa, it's the FloSports app is the app that he was showing the whole time and kind of going through it there as well too. So continue to throw questions in there, but I'm gonna turn it back to Shane here for just a little bit. And Brandon, this first question kind of relates to both of you, I guess. But one of the questions is, other than this new fan experience, right, and this next gen fan experience, what other products are you guys currently working on? For that you have releasing soon, or you may have come out with recently, but what other products can we expect as fans of the sport?
You want that one, Brandon?
For wrestling?
For wrestling, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we want to enhance everything that we showed today. We want to iterate over and over. Like I can't emphasize enough, like we are literally improving every single week. I think the biggest thing you didn't see, to answer your question, is favorites across the board. And like we talked about by wrestlers, but someone asked a question earlier about like, hey, if I do this, is this going to go across tournaments? We want to get way better at that. So the answer is like universal favorites we want to lean into. Athlete profile claiming is something I didn't talk about. That's very, very important. That's not out yet, but it will be very soon. It is the action of claiming yourself as an athlete so that you can receive curated news, videos, all sorts of stuff about you. That's the biggest thing that's on my head.
Got it. Awesome. It kind of covers our upcoming product releases and launches and things like that you've done. I guess big picture for either one of you, like where do you see FloSports in general, FloWrestling? Where do you see the platform headed technologically, right? Like what do you see the future outlook in another 5 years or so from now?
I see people trying to copy us. I see people flocking to Flow for wrestling. This is the home for all of wrestling. I think what we've talked about today is largely just get parity with Track Wrestling, but we want to get way better. And the experiences I showed today, like the experiences are going to be much better than Track Wrestling very, very soon. So the answer to your question is just to get better and to be a model for other companies to copy.
Awesome. Yeah. And then, for either one of you, again, I guess, as far as like shaping the future of the sport, how else does FloSports in general kind of support and give back to the wrestling community?
Yeah, I can hop in there, and maybe just a couple of points of clarification too. I know we're getting to the end, but I think that a common theme here is that, Track Wrestling is FloWrestling, right? We are one team, one platform. We have this one vision for what the sport should look like. We've talked about a caveat or two, right? Like event managers are still using the Track Wrestling platform, and OPC is still as it is, right? And I think I saw a couple of thumbs up there, so I think people are happy to hear that. But in general, this is one platform, right? We're headed the same direction. And you asked about like our long-term vision. I think for us, it's pretty simple. We strive to be the central destination for wrestling, right? One place where you can go. You want results, you want live content, you want news, interviews, rankings, like Brandon was talking about. Everything's there, and this is that's us. We want to be the central destination, and our CEO has talked about this. Not just wrestling specific, but this resonates with me. Like we want to be it's kind of simple. We want to be the first place you go when you wake up in the morning, and the last place you go at night before you go to bed if you want anything wrestling. That's to us. That to us is what the essential destination is, and that's why we all get up every day and go to work.
Awesome. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, we are at the end of this. Shane and Brandon, and for those that are on, we're going to stick around and answer more questions. But for both of you, I appreciate everything and the transparency on the products and everything else. As a quick recap, for coaches and event managers, they're still running everything through TrackWrestling for this season, for their season management, event management, things like that. And then from a fan experience, Brandon did a great job going through this. As a fan myself, I'm excited to be able to consume content this way through the app and really jump around and be able to watch and view the brackets and the matches as much as possible. So I appreciate the transparency. It sounds like there's a lot that's been released. There's a lot that you're continuing to build on and make as a better experience as we go. And so really appreciate that from both of you very much during this session here. So thank you guys very much, and appreciate everyone joining this call. But I'll jump in and just kind of go through some additional more questions that have been asked in here. And as others have questions, feel free to throw it in the chat. But kind of going back to a couple, we talked about that dashboard. Let's see here.
So I have a question. Am I directing? So I'm still, as an admin, I'm still going through the track login. But when I direct my parents, I want to direct them to Flow.
Yeah. So Jennifer, you're talking about if you're running an event on TrackWrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's still, so you go in the main page, you go to manage tournaments, and you would log in the same way that you have.
Still doing everything that I've been doing the same way. But when I go to tell my parents, this is what you guys want to do to find your wrestler, to find your bracket, to find your stuff, I want to direct them to a Flow link.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if they go
FloWrestling link.
Yep, if they go to the FloWrestling website or through the app, of course, yep, they'll go there. All the results will be there. If you go to the TrackWrestling homepage now and click tournaments or events, whichever that says, it'll redirect them to Flow, where they'll see that schedule page that they're using.
Okay, so last year we started to implement those QR codes and those links that I was getting after I create my events. I can send them out to the entire, 1,000 kids, whatever. Will that be updated? And I just click that and I send that same thing and it's going to send them through Flow? Yep. Or do I have to do something specific to make it go through FloWrestling?
Brandon can correct me if I'm wrong, but that QR code that you would print and send out of TrackWrestling as an admin, that's going to take you to the event hub on Flow where the viewers should be.
That's fantastic. Right. Thank you. That's very helpful.
Yeah, you bet.
All right. Jay Gerby, you had asked, I know we're focused on the tournament experiences, or way to understand the MatBoss and Track integration. We're interested in the analysis capabilities. So within MatBoss, right, that's where you're managing as a team, your personal video and stats throughout the season. Our integration with Track has really 4 parts. You're able to import your roster, import your schedule, making the setup really easy on our side. And then the 2 main components is you have access to all opposing rosters, right? Not just MatBoss rosters and MatBoss customers. It's through the OPC and the weight management process. And so all wrestlers are available to you. And so what I mean by that is if you have a duel against another team, you're able to access that that team's roster. So you're able to easily go, all right, it's 106, this guy from my team, that guy from their team, and start recording. So it makes it really easy to name and organize all of that. And then the other big thing is that after any event, if needed, you're able to export all of your results directly into TrackWrestling. And so obviously the tournaments that are ran on Track, that data is there and it's live updating, which as fans, is the fastest way to get those results. For your dual meets or anything not ran on track, after any event, once you've confirmed your results and team scores and everything are accurate from there, with a click of a button, you're able to send those results directly into TrackWrestling. And so rather than having to convert, if you're a team that's still running on an old paper scorebook or anything like that, rather than converting those stats in and putting that information in there now, one button right away after the duel means you can get those results in there immediately. And I know some states have requirements of getting it in there within a certain amount of time. If your managers are doing a good job getting those in there and there's a few corrections maybe you have to make, within minutes after a dual meet, you can get those results there. So your fans and everybody else are able to see those results and have it there. The one part of your question is some of the stuff that moves back and forth. We're continually working with Flo on additional things that we can do as far as like bringing in a dashboard view of matches that are upcoming and things like that to create those matches quicker and faster, things like that. So our relationship with them has been great, and we're continuing to work on some of that stuff. Vitali asked a question, but he just jumped off. So we'll move on to the next one. Sean, your question, I mean, I want to answer everyone's regardless of what it is. So it was why release profiles as is, and when the system's not complete. I'll let Brandon answer that. I'll tell you that from our side of things, we're constantly trying to build on and creating the best experience, and we have to continue to build on that as it goes. And I'm sure that's what they're doing from their side as well too. But Brandon, anything else you'd want to add to that is why releasing now until you have it completed?
Totally, it's a fair question. I'll offer an example of another feature, and I'll talk about the results tab of the Event Hub. When we released that, obviously there's so many things we want to do. And what we learned from feedback was, hey, like content creators, like whether internal or external, which are great for the sport, need to be able to export these results in an expeditious fashion to a CSV file. We listened, we immediately responded, we learned because it was out there, and we built that CSV file, and it was massive impact. Same thing, same principle here. It's not done, but we have learned so much, and not just like about what's wrong, but like how, like what is right. And it's hard to do that if you don't release it. Let's be honest, like a month or so ago, like the Scholastic season hasn't started yet. This is a very calm-ish time for wrestling. It's going to get way more hellacious, let's put it that way. And so, you know, tactically, it made sense to learn. Yeah.
Awesome. Coach or Jay Gervey, is there anyone we can reach out to understand the future path for the integrations with MatBoss? That we'll send out an email to everyone that registered again with the link to the recording of this. My contact information in there. We'll also have other information from Flo there as well too. I'd say if it's more specific to MatBoss, reach out to me. If it's more specific to Flo, possibly reach out to them. Either one of us should be able to answer that question, but by all means, reach out and we'll do our best or direct you to who can answer that question. The person listed as BB, can matches and events be downloaded? If you're talking about MatBoss, you can, because you own the rights to that video, download your video. I'll let Brandon talk on that side of it as far as if you're watching matches, Brandon, within Flo, and Flo owns the rights, or the event manager or the event putting it on owns the rights to the video, are they able to download video out of FloSports?
I'm not sure, but I will get you that answer.
I can take that. The general answer is no. And Tyler, you hit on it. That's a who owns the rights situation. But the general answer there would be no. There's no downloading. You have access to them as long as you have your membership. You can get to them as long as it's streamed. You can get to those archives. But in terms of downloading, the answer is
for sure. Okay. Can multiple users be on the same account? Example, can my wife and I be on the same account, or do we need to pay for separate accounts? Again, if this is for MatBoss, if you have a team account, you can have as many admins and coach profiles as you'd like. If this is for FloWrestling, I guess I'll answer that for them. If you have a Flo membership, can you be logged in with the same login to multiple apps?
Yeah, so generally speaking, one login per membership. There's some talk of some family memberships, things like that. I'm certainly not going to promise, or I don't know enough about it to probably speak more of it, but yeah, you can't necessarily share a membership on Flow to watch video.
We have a family plan coming.
Okay, there you go, Brandon. There you go.
Near term, it'll be there. We're very excited about it.
Awesome. Ken, this is a great question, actually. So, Brandon, could you explain, or Shane, could you explain what part of, like, if I download the FloSports app and I'm in there, what parts do I have access to for free, and what parts am I paying that subscription for?
Every single thing you saw in this presentation today is free.
Awesome. There you go. Ken, hopefully that answers it. It's all free.
Well, so we do have paid features. So yes, everything you did see was free. Except there's actually one exception I just remembered. Rankings. So rankings is a premium feature. Everything else that you saw is free.
Awesome. Brandon, does that include, just so I'm aware too, the live streaming of an event though? I mean, I know you have the access to the archived video, possibly, but the live streaming, that part I'm assuming is behind the subscription as well.
Correct. Yeah, we didn't cover the actual live stream in here, but like, yes, the live streaming is a premium feature.
Got it. Just want to make sure there. I'd love to see a step-by-step tutorial video that I could give to parents and coaches and me that walks us through all these aspects. I think, Pam, to your question, I can circle back with Brandon and Shane and see what material there is, and we'll include that in that email that goes out to everyone as well. Unless, Brandon, you have another thought on that.
I'm creating walkthrough videos for the features you saw today. You will see those shortly.
Also, I just dropped in the chat. That's our wrestling support hub. So there's a ton of stuff in there. You just search it. There's some categories. So at least to get them started before Brandon's done with his work, you can go there and see a lot of the information you're looking for.
Got it. How long is the video archived? So can I go to an event from a year ago or 4 years ago and watch archived video within Flow?
Yep, archives stay up for, I guess we'll say forever. That's probably not the way to say it, but yeah, as long as you have a membership, you have access to those videos.
Got it. Yeah, Coach Gervy, I'll throw my email in at the bottom of this as well too. Shane had put in the support links as well there too, but that email that'll go out will have all the contact information for all of us for sure. Thanks for that feedback, Jonathan. We talked about the integration between MatBoss and TrackWrestling Flow. Yes, sir. Yeah, so I mean, during this presentation, we're talking about the integration between MatBoss and Track and Flow. And if you have any additional questions on some of that with other companies, feel free to reach out to me directly. I'd love to answer any of those questions. Courtney, is there any tutorial on how to run a tournament through Flow? Again, I think that would be best probably to go through the support channel, Shane.
Yep. Yeah. So there are some tutorials there, but at the bottom of that link, there's a contact us, and you can reach out to our customer support team there.
Got it. Family plans would be fantastic. Is some feedback. Yeah. Anybody else? B&B. So there's one guy on the call. Your name is listed there in B&B. You keep raising your hand. Is there a way to unmute? I'm trying to see if I can do it for you. To let you speak here. But if you have a question, still throw it in the chat. Otherwise, that's the chat queue here. I mean, again, if you guys have additional questions, feel free to reach out to us anytime. Otherwise, we can stay on for a couple more minutes. Feel free to turn your mic on and ask. Otherwise, we'll wrap up here shortly.
Tyler, can I ask a question of Shane and Brandon?
Yep.
You guys talked about all the stuff from the fan, and we know as tournament operators this year, we're staying with the traditional track. Are they completely redoing in the future? We're going to have a completely new environment on the operator side in the future?
Yeah, that is correct. That is the plan. So two things there. One, this year, no changes to that platform. You'll go in there, you'll run your tournaments just like you have been in the past. But yes, the long-term plan, fan experience was first, right? We want to make sure that's such a huge number of people that touch that product as fans and viewers. The event management program will be rebuilt as well. Work started on that. We don't necessarily have a timeline for that, but that is for sure on the roadmap.
How do people give input for features we'd like to see continue that are already in there versus things that we know need to be changed and how we would like to see them change?
Sure. Yeah. And we
My
have
exact same question. Thank you, Jeff.
You're welcome.
I talked about this, right? Some of the reason why some of this stuff took so long is because we were taking that feedback, tons of interviews, hours and hours. There is a kind of a mechanism for that. I don't know the link, but when Tyler sends out our information, if you want to reach out to me about that one, I'll get you in touch with the right person. That's not necessarily on Brandon's side of things. I don't think Brandon, right? That's not you. That would be more like a Craig gathering that information, I think.
Well, yeah, it's hard to know what the channel is to go when you have suggestions, and some of them seem fairly easy to get them to the right people that they can maybe make them a reality.
If you have product feedback, I would love to hear from you. So I'm open. I put my email address in the chat. I've gotten on calls with event admins many times in the last couple of weeks. I'm happy to do it.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Appreciate that.
So that was really my question is, from an admin side, if we have admin things, do we direct them to Shane? And if we had fan side things, do we direct them to Brandon?
Yeah, what I meant by when I'm hopping on the call with event admins, they're kind of speaking to the fan experience. Like they're hearing from parents, they're hearing from wrestlers, and they're like telling me.
Okay.
So if it's about the event admin flow, please go to Shane.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
The other thing I'll add there too, if there's ever you're not sure where to go, feel free to reach out to our support team. Right, we're looped in. We're all plugged to them pretty closely. If you're not sure where to go and don't have a way to get there, use the support team and they can get in touch with us.
I have a couple.
Yeah, just with the it's hard to determine sometimes whether it's a flow question or if it's a track question, right? So yeah. I know that we're melding all of them together.
It's our support team is all one, as I said before, kind of, one platform, one team. We're all the same. I know it's two products a little bit as we talk about.
That's what I'm saying. It's because it feels like two products. It's hard to figure out who is really going to answer this question the best. So you don't know which one to hit support for.
That's fair. It's the same support team that's going to handle both sides of things. So feel free to reach out to them. Again, our emails will be coming out in Tyler's follow-up. So feel free to direct those event management platform questions to me for now.
Thank you, guys. This really feels like we're going in the right direction. And I appreciate all of the time that you guys have put into everything. Recoding, big deal.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Steven, right. I think you may have had a question still.
Yeah, man. So moving forward with like the rankings, we were talking about rankings, and I know, I've been a member of the Flow the track paid for stuff forever. Unfortunately, fortunately, but unfortunately, it's a lot of money. When it comes to the rankings, is it the same style rankings that track had previously, or is it a different format to that ranking? Because we've always in the past seen different levels of, this guy's coming in at a 1.19 but he's only wrestled 3 matches, right? And just silly things like that. As a matter of fact, I was in it last night looking at rankings. Like my son won Super 32, and I'm looking in, and his stuff doesn't even show, his profile doesn't even show Super 32, and then he's got multiple profiles on Flow, and then he's got I tried to go into his old track, and I couldn't go into his old track profile. I'm just searching around. So I was just kind of curious, like when the rankings, and I know you said you were still working on things, when the rankings get done, are they going to be in the same measurement platform as they've been in track? And then also, when are we going to get the rest of the profiles? And how do we, or do we just still submit a ticket if I say, hey, this profile and this profile need to be conjoined? Do we still submit a ticket and say, submit these profiles or combine them? I mean,
to be very transparent, if you call in with an athlete profile issue, it's going to go to my sheet. Support is going to put it on my sheet. My team will manually fix it. I cannot emphasize enough that I specifically know the work that has to get done to fill every single scenario you just listed. This is going to be weeks, not months. This is going to be soon. We are very, very focused on athlete profiles.
Yeah.
So rest assured, so to answer your other question, these are proprietary rankings to Flow. These are new rankings. They are not going to at all be related to Track's algorithm or way of ranking.
okay. You know, because like I say, if we're building up this format, this system that's supposed to really help bring the athletes to light, bring the sport to light, make the fan experience what it needs to be, you know, we want to make sure that our kids and our athletes are represented in the right way. And sometimes, you know, you don't want to have a system that's not meeting the right quota for, you know, that type of ranking. You know, you don't want to have like no offense, I'm not gloating, but my son's probably going to be the #1 heavyweight in middle school in the nation this year, right? That's the goal, right? So when I'm sitting here and I'm looking at future things, you get into high school, start thinking of NIL, college, things like that. I want to make sure things are flowing the right way for when you have the #1 system on the internet for wrestling. I want to make sure everything's flowing the right direction, you know, because I'm the #1 fan for my kid. You know what I mean?
You're hitting the nail on the head, loud and clear. And I can tell you this: our team is largely made up of former wrestlers.
Mhm.
We are pouring our own experiences, our own wants into this. We're not just a bunch of nerds like building. Like we've been there.
Yeah.
And we have the right people working on this. There is not a better team equipped to solve your issue and your son's issue. Congratulations to your son. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You look at his profile next month, you're going to see a noticeable difference. You're going to be proud.
Okay. I was actually surprised when I did look at it. It showed more, you know, wins than I've ever seen on his profile. So, next question. I mean, I know there's still some people in the call, but Track always did a 12-month calendar year on the profile. Are y'all maintaining that 12-month calendar year?
The way the record is today, which is changing, I can't emphasize that enough. It's changing, but the way it is today in production is it takes the last 365 days and there's your record. It's not right. And it's also just an overall record. It's not segmented into high school, college, you know, international, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So what is the plan going forward then? So you're saying it was, you know, last 365 days and it wasn't correct. What's the plan going forward to make it correct?
The plan going forward is to have a segmented record. So, hey, if I'm a college wrestler, if I'm Steven's son, like when I go to college, I can see my high school record. I can click high school from a drop down and boom, I can see my high school record, right? We're going to get very specific with years, right? So we don't want to have like this.
So we'll be very specific with youth wrestling as well.
Yes, youth will be in there.
So someone who's wrestled youth, they'll have a different record from their high school record, from their college record. Yes?
That's correct.
Fantastic.
Brandon, and I'll jump in and say, you know, hats off to you guys. I don't know if it was Sion or Travis Shives or Shane, somebody in the past was talking about kind of getting all these records also merged, right? And so like at one point, and this comes from event managers adding wrestlers and a coach and a parent and grandma, whatever it may be. But like at one point, as an example, there was like a dozen Spencer Lees in the country, right? And so kind of getting that and merging that all together and getting it accurate. So, I mean, hats off to you guys for, I mean,
or even just sometimes there are coaches who try to game the system and don't put my child into his actual record.
Mhm.
And then it doesn't show up in Track. It doesn't show up further into Flow, right?
For sure.
Tyler, that would be a pretty decent wrestling team if you had 12 Spencer Lees, though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We'd all take that for sure. Well, I don't see. The only other last question that we'll kind of end with is that Robert, your question's a little bit more specific around the state of Massachusetts. What I'll tell you is that we have customers there that also have to work, or not have to work, that work with Cap Wrestling as well too. And so our system has certain integrations and certain not. I'd say when you get that email from us, reach out. I'd love to chat with you more about that capability for sure. So.
Tyler, I don't see the question, but if the question is more around, hey, if they were in the OPC in arena, nothing's changing there either. So maybe that helps.
Got it.
Regardless of whether you're OPC, we have a couple states that use arena for weight management. Those will remain the same as well.
Awesome. Perfect. Well, everybody, I want to end with this. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you to FloSports, Brandon and Shane, for the transparency and the time spent with the fans and the users here. Really appreciate it. I'm excited about where you guys are headed for the experience for both fans, and then talking a little bit earlier, Shane said about the next steps of getting to event management and season management and things like that too. And so appreciate what you do for the sport and what you guys give back and what you provide to all of us to be able to, like Shane said, from morning till night. If you have anything related to wrestling, it's the best place to consume it. So appreciate that, both of you, very much. For everyone else on the call, you can expect an email from us with the link to be able to watch this video or share it with whoever you'd like to, and then we'll have contact information if you guys have additional questions. But thank you all very much, and I hope you guys have a great evening.
Ready to try MatBoss for yourself? Get started today with our free stats app. No limits, no strings attached. Visit matboss.com/stats to get your free account.